Hi everyone, I'm John Maxine. Today I'm joined by Mrs. Rourke to talk about the new addition to our athletic complex, the Bleachers. How are you doing?
Good. Thank you for having me. Very excited to be out here.
Okay, so can you talk a little bit about the newest addition to our athletic complex and when they were built?
Sure. So as you can see behind you, this is the newest addition to the athletic complex. We're proud that these bleachers and press box are almost done. They're about 90% done. Built just in the past few weeks, raised money over the past few years. As you know, we've worked really hard to raise the dollars for them. Finally had enough set aside that we could put our first great structure on site.
Okay, and you just talked about the money. Could you tell us who's funded the Bleachers?
Sure. There's three primary donors. The first being the NFL. You remember we had the Philadelphia Eagles out last fall. They were so excited to partner with us. The second major donor would be our Parent Club Council. Our parents really stepped up and very generously donated money to help get this project off the ground as well. And then the third primary donor is Mrs. Jane Hagner Kane. I'm sure you remember that she donated money for the press box in memory of her husband, who was just a proud Norristonian. So those are the three primary donors, and then the rest of the money came from some of the fundraisers that we've had. We've done jackpot calendars, we did the carnival, we've done some candy sales. So all those funds combined, we finally had enough to really put a permanent structure out here.
Okay, and I noticed there's another addition besides the Bleachers, the press box up top. You just talked about Miss Kane, well, the Kane family donated it. Just talk about the importance of that family donating the press box.
Sure. So I think the school district will be forever indebted to Mrs. Jane Hagner Kane. And while the sign is not up there yet, in the next week to 10 days, weather dependent, you're going to see great signage up there on the press box that says, Bobby Kane Memorial Press Box. It's just going to honor him and his legacy to the community. And it's particularly exciting, I know, for you guys and your crew, because you're finally going to have a permanent home out here to film our athletic competitions.
Okay. Now, having both these bleachers and the press box, what does that do for someone coming to watch a game? How does that change the experience and make it better for everyone who comes out to support the Eagles?
Well, I think that every time we take a step towards finishing the complex, I think that it's going to make the games more exciting, and it's going to make the community more proud, and it's really going to bring, more motivation and spirit and life to the facility. Now we've got, a small phase. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to raise money for the other side, and we're going to put some permanent bleachers out for our visitors. And then after that, we're probably going to come back here, because these bleachers are the kind that you can add on. So we're going to add to the right and add to the left, and as we raise dollars, just expand the seating so that eventually we have a first-class facility out here.
Okay, and what's the eventual goal? How many seats do we plan on having at the end?
Honestly, I don't know the exact number, so I'm going to estimate, but I believe we have permission to put 2,500 seats on site, with both home and visitor combined. So that's really our focus right now, is getting the seating on site and ready for our spectators. Then honestly, we're going to move on. We're going to raise money for lights, and we're going to raise money for a concession building. So those are all things to come.
It'll be awesome when it's all done. Now, these bleachers were put up pretty fast. I know the people who were building them were working long hours. Could you just talk about who was responsible for the completion of these?
Sure. So the school district contracted with a company called Southern Bleacher, who does a lot of bleacher projects, and done most in Montgomery County and Chester County. I mean, they're really, probably one of the premier bleacher companies. As soon as we got permission to come back on site, they knew that we had a tight timeline. We want to have this open, ready, and 100% complete for the football game on October 10th. So that's the goal. They've been working very diligently and very quickly to get things moving for us. They worked very hard last week, knowing that the weather forecast this week was a little, questionable. Because again, you can see, it's a little bit rainy today, and they're not out here. So they tried on those nice sunny, clear days to get out here and maximize daytime and maximize their construction.
I know they were definitely working fast. I saw them out here. It was pretty amazing. So you said the first home game is going to be October 10th, and people are going to be able to sit on the bleachers for the first time. Are there any more events to follow that, just to start building excitement for, we're one step closer to completing our field?
Sure. So October 10th is the first home game on site. So that'd be the first time anybody has a chance to come out and sit on them, see them. I think there's going to be a lot of excitement that day because, our parents are just, anxious to get out there as well and see that something's happening out here. So October 10th, that's going to be the first game where people are on them. Our first home game of this season, which is very exciting. Then we have a game on October 17th. It's a 3 o'clock game that day. It's a little bit later. And on that day, we have a special event planned. We've got some members from the class of 1957 coming. And there's going to be a special dedication to their coach from the team of 1957. That was the last undefeated season of the Norristown history. So some members of 1957 will be here. We're going to do something special, which we'll share a little bit more later. And then October 31st is homecoming. So our first 3 home games, we've got special events. We hope people come out, see what we've been able to accomplish, and hopefully motivate people to, provide some funding, get excited, and really bring the spirit back to the community.
Very nice. Is there anyone else you would like to thank for helping complete this project?
Sure. Honestly, this project, there's so many people to thank for this project. I mean, first and foremost, the 3 donors certainly stepped up, very, very generous and very committed to our, completing the project. Beyond that, we certainly need to acknowledge and thank both the school board, the Norristown Area School Board of Directors, and West Norton Commissioners. I mean, both parties really tried to collaborate and keep, in the forefront of the activities the students and make sure that this is done so the students can have a successful season and a successful school year.
All right. Is there anything else you would like to add?
No, everybody come out in October. It's going to be exciting.
Okay. Thank you for joining me. I'm John Maxey. I just talked to Ms. Spork about the new addition to our athletic complex, these beautiful bleachers and press box. Now back to the Eagle's Eye.